bees aren't buzzing quite like they used to. Over the last 60 years, the number of managed hives in the U.S. has dropped from 6 million to 2.5 million, largely thanks to pesticides, parasites, and habitat loss. $15 billion worth of agriculture production, including more than a third of the food we eat, relies on honeybees' pollination to grow, according to the USDA.
Okay, there's the honey.
And fewer bees would eventually mean less food and higher prices for all of us.
A lot of the nutritious food that we eat is pollinated, so our diets would be significantly limited if we didn't have pollinators.
Hoping to save the bees, President Obama recently created a special task force to come up with a strategy. And the USDA is launching an $8 million program to help farmers in the Midwest plant more bee-friendly wildflowers. But many bee farmers say after 60 years of this problem, those efforts are too little, too late.
It takes them 2 million blossoms to make a pound of honey, and each one needs 70 or 80 pounds of honey to make it through the winter. So you're talking a lot of flowers, a lot of acres of plants. That's why we could spend that $8 million in Jefferson County here alone.
That's only the funding that's coming from USDA. So there are other agencies that could potentially get involved. There's private organizations that could be involved. So, I mean, I don't know that it's entirely up to USDA to solve the problem.
Queen's inside there.
The USDA says its main role is to educate farmers on the issue, and that it's ultimately up to the agriculture industry to make changes. The president's task force is set to release its plan by the end of this year. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
Welcome to Community Feed.
There's only one place Bryce Weiler would rather be than at the ballpark, and that's up in the press box, broadcasting.
Bray has been working the count here, fouling off a couple of extra pitches, which I grew up listening to sports on the radio. I still listen to sports on the radio over television.
Baseball has always been a game obsessed with numbers, and Bryce knows his math.
Well, if you commentate any sporting event on the radio, you have to have good statistics and figures about individuals. Middleton has started behind now with 3 straight batters, and he's gotten 2 strikeouts.
What Bryce doesn't know is what it's like to actually see the game being played.
I can tell sometimes that there's light and shadows when there's someone walking by me sometimes.
Beyond lights and shadows, there's nothing else. Bryce was born blind in both eyes.
It's like there's a brick wall and nothing will come through.
Yet this is a person who refuses to envision himself on the sidelines. In fact, there's very little Bryce fears, with one exception.
I think the one thing that scares me is being able to find a job in sports or find a job in general, since I cannot see.
Bryce hopes getting his master's degree will prove he belongs in the lineup on somebody's broadcast team.
Hopefully, someone will be willing to give me a chance and understand the value that I might bring to an organization.